Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's Tuesday later evening here in South Jersey, and it's almost evening in Southern California, but it is a special Tuesday night episode of Material Issues, episode number 111. I'm Mark Hershberger, pre septoplasty nose surgery tomorrow morning, and post 2 full days of driving home from Florida. We just got in the door about half an hour ago, and boy, are my legs tired. But joining me as always, and looking forward to another great Material Issues episode, my good friend out of SoCal, Mr. David Bash. David, president of the International Pop Overthrow Festival. A lot of great things going on in IPO land. How are you feeling tonight, my friend?
I'm doing okay, Mark. I'm glad you have a good outlook about your surgery tomorrow. And I wish you well. What is that?
I don't know. I keep remembering the Our Gang Little Rascals episode where I think it's Spanky or Alfalfa's boxing, and he goes,
It's kind of like what they call the championship hand clasp.
"Yeah,
I first heard that term in the Beach Boys book, Heroes and Villains. Murray sarcastically gave the championship hand clasp to Brian because I think he put one over on Brian and was proud of that. I forget the exact scenario. If John Borak is here, he might remember the whole thing. But we joke about the championship hand clasp all the time.
Well, speaking of Beach Boys, just funny enough, Hannah and I, when we're driving for 2 hours or 2 days, 18 hours in and out of the car from Florida, we always play like tons of old songs and have a good time. And she popped up out of her phone, "Don't Worry Baby" by the Bay City Rollers. And
Oh, yeah.
God bless her heart. She said, "Did they write this?" And I said, "No, it's not the Bay City Rollers originally." And I had to give her a lesson that before Bay City Rollers, you had Frankie Valli or the Four Seasons, you had the Beach Boys, and I gave her a whole big litany in the thing. So it was a wonderful educational experience for her, and but it was just
That's
nice.
great. I mean, you are very fortunate to have a daughter that likes that kind of music. That's all I have to say. I'm sure you could have done a lot worse.
Yes. Well, and I love Leah, my other daughter, equally. Love her very much. And I've learned that you never make fun of the music that the younger generation, particularly your kids, like, because it's their thing. It's their generation.
Absolutely.
You always say this is great, but when they picked me up from the airport, she had like, who's the country guy now? Luke Combs or something is this big country guy.
Yeah.
And
Heard the name. That's all
it was just it just and I just have a hard time. And then the very next song was some other country artist, and it sounded exactly like the previous song I just heard. And then the third song sounded like the second and the first song, and they were singing along and loving it. So I was just like, hey. And they're probably watching this in an archive somewhere, and I'm not making fun of you guys. You love it. It's all for you. It's not for me.
And I'm a big proponent of that. It's not our world. It's not our world anymore, and it shouldn't be our world. We grew up. We had our world in which we grew up, and we got to go through all of the changes, some good, some bad. Yes. But we got to go through everything that kids, then teenagers, then young adults go through. And our music was the soundtrack, part of the soundtrack of our life, no doubt about it. Kids, whatever we think about their music, and we're not supposed to like it. Let's face it. I remember Jamie Vernon, who was a guest on our program, told me that to his dad, the Beatles sounded like, and I'm probably paraphrasing here, but 3 consecutive fire engines going by. All right. To him, it was just noise. To all the songs that we loved, in which we just drink in those melodies. Yeah. To him, it was just complete white noise almost. It was unbearable to him.
But here's the thing that caught me though, and they even agreed with me because I'm listening to the song, and I start singing this other song over it, and I said, this is almost a complete note for note ripoff of Bon Jovi's Who Said You Can't Go Home? So I'm listening to this. I guess it's Luke Combs is his name. And so the song's playing out, and I'm singing, Who Says You Can't Go Back? As a matter of fact. And it fit in perfectly. And I said, This is a Bon Jovi song. How's he getting away with this? And they're like, Who? Bon who?
Yeah. Well,
and I said, that's exactly how he's getting away with it, because his audience has no idea who Bon Jovi is.
Right. Well, people have been getting away with ripping off other artists for hundreds of years, but I'm sure it's getting worse now. But whatever. It's like I said, it's their world. They can listen to what they want, and we're not supposed to like it, and that's okay.
And that's okay.
Little watch check here. Well, more than little. I'm wearing one that anybody can afford if they want to. This is hardly out of anyone's price range. It is the
Rolex Submariner.
It's a Rolex GM. It's a Rolex Explorer by an homage company named Pagini Design, and it's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Looks a lot like the Explorer 2. $75.
There you go.
And it works well. It really works well. The only difference is that when the dates are in the 20s, it doesn't look like the Rolex dates in the 20s. And that's because the movement in here is a bit cheaper and won't accommodate that kind of date window. That's the only difference. And comes in white also.
Oh, nice.
Because the Explorer 2 came in both white and black.
What are you wearing? You're wearing one on each wrist.
I'm wearing one on each wrist, just to say if you want to get into watches, but you just can't really afford it, you can afford these. I forgot the company online that sells them. I'll have to look that up, but it's not hard to find them online. Some company, in Asia, and it takes about a week or so to get them, and they're beautiful. I don't even care so much that they look like Rolexes. I just think they're really nice looking.
They're very nice looking. And I wanted to ask you before I post this comment here, someone's commenting on last week with your watch. Do you pronounce it? And I don't even know what the correct pronunciation is. Is it Zurich or Zarek?
I have heard different pronunciations when I've called them. Yeah, here it is, the Halo.
Yeah, it's a beautiful watch. Yeah,
it really is, and it's not that hard to tell time once you figure out what's going on. Yeah, the two concentric circles over the hour and the minute. Once you figure that out, it's pretty easy. It may take a split second longer. Oh yeah, okay, Casey. Yes, this is Hunter S. Thompson's birthday. She told me that last week. So
I love that. Yeah. If you have the right music very loud on the radio. Good call, Casey. I love it. Nice comment. Appreciate it. That's fantastic.
Yeah. So let's see. Yeah. No, so last week I was proud to MC the 8th annual Harry Nilsson sing along. It was really a lot of fun. Tons of talent up there. I mean, I gave it I kind of imbued my introductions with some trivia, Nilsson trivia, some anecdotes. One of my favorite stories, the Otto Preminger one, which people seem to like. Stuff like that. But here's an interesting thing. I was talking about Cuddly Toy,
right?
Which virtually all of us know better by the Monkees. That's where we generally first heard it. It's on Nilsson's debut album, which didn't make much of a mark on the charts. So when the Monkees covered it, it obviously got a little bit more buzz and play. Sounds like an innocent enough song. In fact, I'm sure a lot of kids and their moms sang along to it. Little did they know that the song is about a gangbang.
Yeah.
And so I said that, and the crowd kind of had a little bit of a hush. And so I said, wait a minute, am I allowed to say that anymore?
Yeah.
And one of the women out there, I don't know if she was half joking. It was hard to see her face because of the lights on stage. But one of the women in the crowd said, no, you can't.
You can't.
And I said, okay, then.
I won't.
It was consenting adults in a rapturous moment with a very willing young woman. So that reminded me, and I got to have some soda for this.
A very willing young woman.
Yes. Who was the only reason she was upset in the song is that after they were done with her, they told her to get out.
Yeah.
But she was happy to be there and happy to do what she did.
Right.
She just was thinking that they would want to keep her around, and they didn't.
Yeah.
But anyway, reminds me of this great Buddy Hackett routine, which is anything but PC. And I was going to tell it to a friend, but I'm going to tell it here first. Some of you may have seen Buddy Hackett's acts in the early '80s.
Yeah.
He did a few cable specials when HBO was like the only thing around. He did a special on there, and he's done variations of this act, but it always centers on the fact that he's doing some very dirty jokes, and there's a woman in the crowd, obvious shill, but we don't know this, and she's like kind of cringy, and she's up near the front, so Buddy Hackett sees that and he goes, "Madam, are my jokes making you uncomfortable?" And she says, "Well, yeah, they kind of are." She said, "All right, I never want anyone in the crowd to feel bad, so let me do this. I'll start telling some jokes, and the first one will be, just very mild, and with each joke, it'll get less and less mild. But I want you to tell me when it just gets too much for you. Are you okay with that?" And she says, "Yeah, sure. That sounds fine to me." So he says, "Okay, let's start with this. A woman goes to the dentist to have her teeth cleaned. And as she's sitting there, the dentist is fiddling with all his instruments and the lights. And he's just really preparing. And she's getting a bit uneasy. And she says, "Doctor, I don't know. The way you're preparing, I don't know whether I'm here to have my teeth cleaned or have a baby." And dentist says, "Well, make up your mind so I can adjust the chair." "Madam, how is that?" She said, "All right, that's okay. That's not too much for me." "Okay, then, how about this?" There's a couple who think that it would be a big thrill to have sex in a graveyard. So they go to a cemetery and they proceed to make love on a tombstone. The next day, the woman wakes up. Her back really hurts. So she goes to a chiropractor and says, "Doctor, I don't know why. I don't know what happened, but my back really hurts. Can you help?" So the doctor examines her. She says, "Doc, so what's wrong with my back?" He says, "I don't know, but your ass says that you died in 1789. "Okay, madam, how was that?" She says, "All right, that's getting a little bit more. It's getting a little more risque, but I can handle it." "All right, then, lady, how about this?" This is a story of a mute. Someone who can't talk. I have to do Buddy Hackett's accent there. Well, this mute decided that he wanted to make love to his wife. So he went to a pharmacy to get a condom. So he goes up to the counter, and remember, he can't talk. So he puts 2 quarters, 50 cents on the table. He takes out his member, and the crowd's, of course, laughing, goes, "Do you know what a member is? It's another name for a dick." So he takes out his member and he puts it on the table, and he points to, and the pharmacist is there. I forgot to say that. He points to his penis and says, "Ah." So the pharmacist proceeds to take out his member, put it on the table, and it's bigger than the customer's. So he takes the 50 cents and puts his dick back in his pants. And the mute is flabbergasted. He's going, ah. And the pharmacist says, well, if you don't want to lose, don't bet. How is that, lady? All right, now we're pushing it. But we're still okay. He says, all right, then, how about this? 2 queers was fucking an alligator on a bus. And she goes, no, that's too much. Hi, John Borak. John hates it when I do that stuff. Or he pretends to hate it. I love that routine.
Yeah, but listen, we've just archived a great routine for people to go check out Buddy Hackett.
For you, if you're too woke, if you're too PC, just don't watch this episode.
If you're too woke or too PC, go watch Herbie the Love Bug with Buddy Hackett.
I can't. Speaking of, and I'll say this again later, but speaking of something that's not very PC, I just got this in the mail today.
Yeah.
Beyond the Valley of the Dolls Criterion Collection.
Yes, the Criterion Collection is amazing. Yeah. The stuff they're putting out.
I'm so glad they got to this. And
I was
told by Steve Hoffman, who's an expert on audio. He did all those MoFi gold discs. And he said this is the best sounding and the best looking version of the movie that exists. And I guess it has a few extra bonus tracks.
I think they do with most of everything. Look, and the Criterion Collection is great. They've got like 300 films out on old classics, out back on either Blu-ray or DVD, or all bonus stuff. I just got a couple in the mail. I got The Girl Can't Help It.
Oh,
Little Richard, all the great 50s acts. I got After Hours, which is one of my favorite films. I get a couple great. I love the Criterion Collection. It's fantastic, and they're archiving these great films. I love it.
Yeah, they are. And but one of the reasons I brought this up is because our next week's guest.
Yeah, this was just booked.
Booked. But he's been a Facebook friend for a while. I had to Facebook friend him because I admired his work so much in this movie. But he's the man he's John Lazar, who played the director Ronnie Z-Man Barzell, who was in some ways supposed to be kind of like the Phil Spector of Hollywood, because he had all these celebrities coming to his house all the time. And he's the guy who says at one of his parties, he says, "It's my happening and it freaks me out." So I use that quote when advertising an upcoming IPO, and I tagged him in it, and he loved it. So I remember seeing him in an interview about 10 years ago, and he seemed to be really into talking about the character. So I asked him if he would be a guest, and he will be here next Wednesday. We're going to go back to Wednesday for the foreseeable future. So he'll be here for episode 112 of Material Issues. And
anybody who sees any of the old archives or sees tonight's show live or archived, please let me know if my voice has significantly changed with my nose surgery from everything you've seen before me to next week. See if my golden voice has.
See if you're like Mickey Mouse.
Completely like Mickey Mouse.
Or Minute Mouse. Gee, Courageous, we really did it this time. Meanwhile,
it is. It's more Minute Mouse. It's more Minute Mouse.
Meanwhile, Minute Mouse did nothing. Courageous did everything, and we really did it this time.
Minute Mouse, and I love Minute Mouse, Courageous Cat, Felix the Cat. Was right in that time period as well. Oh, it's great stuff. Great stuff.
I'm trying to remember the studio that did those. I think wasn't it the same studio that did Felix the Cat and Courageous Cat? I don't know.
I think so.
Because the animation looks very similar.
Very similar. What was funny today, though, my daughter was, working from home as we're driving for the last 2 days. So when she had meetings and things she had to do, she would be in the passenger seat with her laptop and could go live with her headset and talk Teams meetings and things. And they were doing a thing, and they were asking, like, if our organization was a superhero, what superhero would it be? And of course, everybody was saying Superman or Batman or, the Flash or Iron Man. I said to Hannah, and she had no idea what I was talking about. I said Strongman. Then I said,
Oh yeah,
Diaper Man.
I was
I
hoping
said
that was coming. The Mighty Heroes.
the Mighty Heroes, Rope Man and
Tornado Man.
Tornado Man.
But you're forgetting you're forgetting the most important one though. Cuckoo Man.
Oh, Cuckoo Man. That was my favorite.
Cuckoo Man was great. He was a bumbler. Yeah, he was a complete bumbler, but somehow he'd bumble into the criminals. He'd like fly into them accidentally and knock them all dead, cold on the ground.
That was
he'd be the hero.
I had forgotten all about that cartoon for whatever reason, but in hindsight, it's one of my favorites. It ranks up there with Super Chicken, and the Mighty Heroes were just, and the Anthill Mob, and the Wacky Racers. All that crazy stuff was just so good. But the Mighty Heroes, yep.
Damn, I used to be able to name all 10 Wacky Races cars. Well, all 11 because you had Dick Dastardly was 00.
Right. And there were like Matchbox, I think Matchbox put out like each individual car as a collector thing, which was pretty cool. I never picked it up, but
see the ones I can definitely name are the two cavemen were in car number 1.
Okay. Yes.
Let's see, Professor Pat Pending, who was my favorite because I was a nerd also. He was in car number 3. Well, I loved how his car would convert into his plane would convert into all kinds of things. Penelope Pit Stop, help, was in car 5. The Anthill Mob was car 7. Peter Perfect was car 9. Now, let me think.
I'm pulling it up right now.
I think the Ghoulie people were car number 2.
Okay, here's what we got.
Let me see.
You had 00. You had the Mean Machine, Dick Dastardly and Muttley.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Number 1 was
the Rock.
Yeah, it was the Boulder Mobile with rock, slag, and gravel slag.
That's right. Yeah.
Car number 2 was the Creepy Coupe.
Okay, I got that.
Right, with Big Gruesome and Little Gruesome. And then, of course, car number 3 was the Convert a Car with Professor Pat Pending.
Oh, 4 was the red. Was he the Red Baron guy?
The 4 was the Red Max.
Oh, the Red Max.
The Crimson Hay Baler.
Yeah. And
then 5, of course, was Penelope Pit Stop in the Compact Pussycat.
Of course.
And then number 6 was the Army Surplus Special with Private Meekly and Sergeant Blast.
Yeah, there you go.
And then number 7 was the Bulletproof Bomb, which was the Anthill Mob, identified on model sheets as Clyde, Ring-a-Ding, Mac, Rugbug, Benny, Danny, Willie, and Kirby.
The only one I remember is Clyde because they would say the other guys would say his name all the time.
The number 8 was the Arkansas Chugabug with Lazy Luke and Blubber Bear. And then number 9 was the Turbo Terrific with Peter Perfect, exactly. And then number 10 was the Buzzwagon with Rufus Roughcut and Sawtooth.
Rufus Roughcut should be my favorite character because he had teeth out to here.
We're going to start calling you Rufus Roughcut.
You should, yeah.
It's Material Issues with Mark Hershberger and Rufus Roughcut.
Was it RUFFCUT by chance?
It was.
God, my voice is cracked.
Yes, it was Rufus Roughcut. Yes. Yeah. Wow.
I'm gonna have to. Well, we'll see. I may change it.
Those episodes they had 17 episodes, every one of them in 1968, except one in 1969.
Oh,
there were 17 episodes. So
there were only 17 Wacky Races episodes?
Yeah, 17 episodes.
I thought there was a full season for it.
But there were a lot of spin-offs. There was Captain Caveman, there was Mumbly, there was Dread Baron.
Wow, I don't remember any of those. They must have lasted a week.
They must not have lasted very long, but interesting. I probably could have named about 3 of those Wacky Racers. I don't think I could have gotten as many as you did. That's interesting. What a great cartoon.
But of course, the best spin-off that came from that was Dastardly and Muttley and his flying machines.
Hey, thank you, Tim.
Hey,
yeah.
Tim.
Yeah. Dastardly, the flying machine.
I with Kath, the show later, you're going to have a catheter? Oh, I'm sorry, Tim.
Well, he's dedicated. He's sitting there with a catheter watching the show.
I guess.
You know? That's why his typing's a little high.
Dastardly and Muttley and his stop the pigeon. Stop the pigeon. And Muttley wanting the medals. Oh yeah, I cannot. I would give anything to be able to do that laugh really well. That is my favorite thing that any cartoon character does. Muttley's laugh.
Oh, it's great.
Just the face on him while he's doing it too. I love that whole thing.
Really was. Were you an Ultraman fan?
I've never even heard of it.
Ultraman, the Japanese live action show from the 70s. Yeah. Where Ultraman was in like almost like a crazy looking alien outfit. He'd just always be fighting big like almost like Godzilla type characters and things. It was all like dubbed, you know.
But back to the Mighty Heroes for a second. You remember the Strong Man, your favorite character, and Diaper Man were buddies. And that's because Strong Man was a man child and Diaper Man was a child man.
Right. I just gotta look up what years that was, because it's there's the Mighty Heroes.
Yeah, what studio did Mighty Heroes?
So I'm looking up here. It series created by Ralph Bakshi for the Terry Toons.
Yeah.
Terry Toons.
He's a big hero among a lot of animation people.
Yeah, look at that. Now Ralph Bakshi. You had Strong Man. He had super strength, but spoke with a friendly farm boy type accent, and held a civilian job as a mechanic.
Right.
His favorite fighting move is his jet-propelled blow.
I don't even want to know what that is.
In which he would fly into the villain fist first. Yeah, I remember that.
Oh my God, I really don't want to know what that is.
Fist first. And it turned out, according to a later comic book, his real name is Gomer Steed.
That makes sense.
Perfect sense. And of course, Rope Man is a sailor who works at the docks. Erudite with a British accent, he can transform into a seemingly unending length of rope. His real name is Chap Goodley.
Why not, right?
And Tornado Man is a television weather forecaster named Dusty Storm.
Dusty.
He often sucks the villains into his vortex. Then
I'm
shoots
sure
them
he
out.
did. So let me get this straight. Strong Man came in fists first, and Tornado Man sucked his villains. Okay. There was so much sexual innuendo in that cartoon that nobody got.
And it also says he speaks in a wheezy voice.
Yeah, he does.
Then you got Cuckoo Man. I love Cuckoo Man. He was a bird shop owner whose powers are the most limited of the group. Yeah. You know, all four of the Mighty Heroes can fly with no effort, but Cuckoo Man has to flap his arms constantly.
But that became his strength.
And it says
he bumped into the villains all the time.
The conclusion of every episode always shows him lagging behind the others as they fly off into the distance. And his name was Mortimer Moore. Funny stuff. And then Diaper Man is a redheaded, diapered, yet fully articulate baby who sounds a lot like Popeye the Sailor Man. He did. His main weapon is his bottle, by which, holding on to the rubber nipple, he can swing it around like a slingshot forcefully. And the bottle can also shoot high-pressure streams of baby formula. It's just too
that cartoon was so subversive. It's great.
1966 and 67.
Okay.
21 episodes. Wow. Yeah. I know we got off on a tangent, but sometimes.
Well, that's what we do here.
Yeah, that's just, I have not thought of that in a long time.
Is this Jennifer Rankin? Oops. I outed you, Jennifer. That's Casey's niece, Jen. I have a feeling that's who that is.
great stuff though. Great stuff. I wish like all 21 episodes of that was on DVD.
Is that on anything? DVD, Blu-ray? I'd buy it in a second.
In a second I would. Production company CBS Terry Tunes. I don't see any information where it says home video, 1985 Children's Library VHS tapes.
Oh, that's it.
And later in 1989 released 2 Mighty Heroes VHS tapes with 6 cartoons each. So that's not even. Wait, in 2022, Amazon Freevee uploaded the Video Treasures VHS tape for free streaming on Amazon.
Wow.
But it's only 12 of the 21 episodes.
I'll take them. If they're on Prime, I'm watching.
Isn't that something? I would love to have, if anybody out there is a collector, I would love to have the Mighty Heroes.
Yes.
I would put it on like an SD card. I would love to have the Wacky Racers. I'd love to have
Wacky Races is available. I have that. I have the DVD. I'd forgotten there were that few episodes though. But Wacky Races was put out. Hanna-Barbera did release that one.
I'd love to have all the Super Chicken episodes. Not many of them. There's only like 12 of those.
I wonder if those are around.
Boy, that'd be great.
So for those of you who are new to the show, yes, we are very strange people.
I think that's who you outed.
I outed Jennifer. There you go.
Yeah.
Aw.
Are you talking to me or David? Oh, you're talking to each other. I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah.
But if anybody in the archive sees this, drop us a message and let us know how we can get copies of.
We had no idea we were going to be talking about cartoons today. We really didn't. But that's how the show works sometimes.
Yeah, we just
get off on tangents that we enjoy, and we hope you can at least tolerate them. Viewers.
Or if you're in our age range, you could relate.
Yeah,
it's very relatable.
No doubt some of you saw those cartoons when you were kids. Maybe you only liked them then. Maybe you forgot about them, and now you're thinking, "Oh wow, yeah, I remember."
But as you alluded to, I mean, such adult content in so many of those '60s cartoons.
Oh my God, they were so. Some of them were so subversive.
And of course, we've talked about my favorite being Super Chicken, where he really had no power, but his butler would mix him the super sauce. And sauce, of course, is a euphemism for martini, and he would shake it like a martini and put it into a martini glass and give it to him. Where he'd slug it down, and all of a sudden he felt like he had superpowers. He was just drunk.
Do you remember speaking? And I think there were all kinds of superhero stuff going on in the '60s. Do you remember the network shows Mr. Terrific and Captain Nice?
Yes, I do. I was trying to think about that the other day. I was telling Hannah and Leah because some old shot of Captain America came up, which made me think of and I couldn't really hone in on Mr. Terrific and was it
Captain Nice.
Captain Nice. And I'm amazed you just said that.
Both of them. Well, they weren't on the same network, but I always watched them both. CBS had Mr. Terrific at 8:00. I believe this was Thursday night, and I could be wrong about that. And Captain Nice was at 8:30 on NBC. And both of them were about pretty much kind of nebbishy guys who somehow fell into becoming superheroes. Yeah. Mr. Terrific was a gas station attendant who I forgot the name of the organization that was supposed to be like the FBI or something. Somehow they recruited him, and when he took this purple pill, he would turn into Mr. Terrific, who could fly and catch criminals. Captain Nice was a chemist, I believe, and he accidentally developed a formula where he would, and of course, all of a sudden, as they took the formula, their clothing would change from. It would change from his lab coat to he was basically wearing tights, and he could fly too, I believe. But for those of you who are TV buffs, Captain Nice was played by none other than William Daniels.
Yes,
St. Elsewhere, and then Boy Meets World, who I believe is still alive. I think he's 95 now, and he's still with us. But yeah, back then nobody knew who he was, but I think that may have been his first big break. Not that those were big breaks. I think those shows lasted like half a season each.
Oh, Yeah, indeed. And I wanted to mention there's something I'd like to get. It's very expensive though, but there's a encyclopedia of American animated television shows,
Oh yeah.
and it's been out of print for a number of years, but
eBay.
used copies on Amazon and eBay are
Oh.
running around
Oh
$140.
my God! Wow.
But
Well, I'm out, unfortunately.
yeah, it's just like I said, it's 802 pages,
Whoa.
and
Maybe I'm in.
it covers everything from like 1948 all the way up to whenever the book was published a number of years ago. But I mean, all the cartoons we're talking about, all these cartoons that you've long forgotten about, they're all in there, and it talks about who did the voices, where it
Wow.
was produced, how it was made. I'd love to get that book.
Yeah,
So,
no, that sounds awesome. What's it called again? I want to look it up.
it is called, and there's a couple different books that are very similar in name to this, but this is called the Encyclopedia of American Animated Television Shows. By
American Animated Television Shows.
It's by David Perlmutter, Perlmutter, Perlmutter.
Perlmutter, yeah. I think I know who he is.
Yeah.
I think I've seen him as an author for other things.
Yeah,
I gotta check that out.
Yeah, it's 5 years old. It was 2018.
Oh, that recent. Wow.
Yeah. Okay. So he's also the author of America Tunes In, A History of Television Animation in 2014.
Nice.
So yeah, that's one I'd like to get. Just for memory's sake.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I forgot all about that. Just like you were talking about Captain Ice. It's amazing you said that because I was just trying to recall that yesterday.
Oh yeah, no, I could. That was one night where I could not wait. It wasn't past my bedtime.
The purple pill.
Those shows were just so. Yeah, he would take. I think his face would turn purple.
Yes, it did. It did turn purple. It glowed, and you wondered as a kid, how'd they make his face glow?
Yeah. And yeah, again, he was kind of both of them were both Mr. Terrific and Captain Nice were kind of bumbling guys, but they somehow bumbled into getting the job done. So that's all that mattered.
Bumbled into getting. That's awesome. I can't believe you brought that up. But
all right, well, let's if it's okay, let's move on to something people might actually care about.
Let's
music.
Oh, wait, music?
Yeah, I want to play some new stuff for everybody, and I want to start with a series of tribute discs or covers discs. Well, the first few are covers albums, and the next few are tribute discs. But normally, I'm not really big on these things unless I know they're good, and in this case, we do have some good ones. And first one I want to play is by a gentleman named Marco Rossi from the UK. And he had a band at one time, a really great band, even though their name is doesn't necessarily evoke confidence. His band was called Cheese. And they had two albums, one called Let It Breathe. Why not, right?
Right.
And the other one, Enlarge with Johnson.
Yeah.
Let It Breathe was particularly good. Anyway, this guy has really good taste, and he's talented, and he's got a new covers album called "The Sincerest Form of Flattery."
Nice.
There it is, and he covers a lot of cool '60s tunes, including some pretty obscure ones.
Oh, nice.
One of the more obscure ones is this song, which I actually first heard by the Chocolate Watch Band, but I think the more famous version is by We the People, and the song's called "In the Past." So let's see. I'm trying to see if this is even going to work, but let's see. Oh, wait a minute. What is it doing? That's really weird. Hold on. Let me try this again. It's playing the wrong thing.
See,
again, it's playing the wrong thing. I don't know what's going on. Let me refresh the page. See if that works. All right, this will work. Here's "In the Past" by Marco Rossi.
I realized there was nothing much to love, but that's no reason to go on living in the past.
Oops.
Doing all the things we used to do. If you could color me, it would be dark as blue. Give me another chance. I'll love you more than in the past.
That's a really cool track.
Yeah.
He also does Forget All About It by Nas, which is one of my favorite Nas songs. He does Trust by the Peppermint Trolley Company, Someday Man by Paul Williams, Pretty Song from Psych Out by Strawberry Alarm Clock, and stuff like that. So it's on Fruits de Mer Records, which puts out a lot of really cool.
Oh yeah, they do. That's a great label.
Stuff. So I would recommend it. You'll probably have to go online to find it. I can't think of any store that would carry it, but anyway, it's around. Another one on the great Big Stir Records label. We love Big Stir, of course. This is called Pop Masters by the Flash Cubes. It's not quite out yet, and I forgot if I'm allowed to talk about it, but I'm going to play one track from it. And it'll be out in August, so it's coming out soon. You may remember this track, originally done by the Motors and Leif Garrett, believe it or not. Fine version of this. Really cool version.
It's a great version.
About You by the Motors.
Hard to not hear the Leif Garrett version in my head.
Oh, it's funny. But well, like I said, he did a really nice job. I mean, nobody gave that album, any credence whatsoever, but including Creedence themselves. But he did some really fine covers on that album that he did back then. But yeah, so this is the Flash Tubes, the legendary power pop band.
Yeah, indeed.
They also do Baby It's Cold Outside by Pez Band.
Right.
They do Get the Message by Cyrus Erie, which was Eric Harmon's pre-Raspberries band.
Right. Yeah.
They do Have You Ever Been Torn Apart by the Sponge Tones, among a lot of other very cool songs. And they do them very, very well. So look out for that. It's coming out early August on Big Stir. So
awesome. Big Stir strikes again.
And here's another one on Big Stir that is out now. It's Sparkle Jets UK, Best of Friends. And this one has a lot of tracks on it. But they're such a talented band, and they've got great taste in music. And they're doing mostly covers of LA bands, but not all. There's actually 3 covers on here that the originals of which were on IPO CDs.
Oh, nice.
So they obviously found out about these bands through the IPO CD, and I'm very proud of that. But here's one by a band I wrote about on Facebook last week, Wondermint.
Nice.
The great LA band from the 90s, and they made it into the early 2000s. This is a song from their Bali album, one of my favorite Wonderman songs, and Sparkle just does a great job on it. In and Around Greg Lake.
Oh, nice.
Oh, it's in the middle, sorry. I always love that
track, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Darian Sahanaja, who wrote that song, got that, I guess, from Roundabout, where John Anderson sings In and Around the Lake.
Right.
He threw in Greg because ELP was another band of that ilk that was right around the same time. And Mike Simmons from the Michael Simmons from Sparkle just sings the hell out of this. So like I said, there's a lot of really cool covers on here by many bands who were part of the LA scene, like the Masticators, the Andersons, Cosmo Topper, Candy Pants, Double Knot Spies, Linus of Hollywood, Sugar Plastic, all kinds of stuff like that. This is great. And like I said,
Sparkle Jets UK.
It's about 21 tracks. I would, if you don't have this one yet, definitely get it, because it'll be like one of the reasons I'm playing these covers albums is very educational. It's not like they're covering Beatles and so pretty cool stuff.
Some of the more obscure things they choose to cover too. Yeah,
that people should know if they don't already. Now we are going to go to one that's not quite as obscure, but let me see. I got to set this up. Okay. This one is coming out very soon. It's on our friends Gem Records, and it's Gem Celebrates Ray Davies. And of course, like all of the tribute albums that they do, they've got great people on here. And so the formula for a great tribute album is have great people cover a great artist, and indeed they're doing that. And this should be out soon. Look out for it on Gem Records. I'm going to play a track, one of the a fairly obscure track by the Kinks, although anyone who has Village Green the Village Green Preservation Society album will know this song. It's called Do You Remember Walter? And we're doing it here by the Anderson Council.
Great band, Anderson Council. Yeah.
Play. Oops. No, not that one.
Wait, I know that one.
Wait a minute. I'm in the wrong track. Sorry, people. There we go.
Walter, remember when the world was young and all the girls knew Walter's name? Walter, isn't it a shame the way our little world has changed? Do you remember Walter playing cricket in the thunder and the rain? Do you remember Walter smoking cigarettes behind the garden gate? Yes, Walter was So my old friend, where are you now? Walter, Walter, isn't it a shame the way you live? The world has changed. Do you remember Walter, what we said? We got the world so we can free. We turned the bottom of the end, we fight a ball and set the sea. Really love. I like that they add some chord changes that the Kinks version didn't have.
Anderson Council, great.
Anyone who knows me well knows how much I love unexpected chord changes. They just, every neuron in my brain just starts popping when that happens. I just love it. And yeah, so this will be out soon. I should have. I don't have the press release in front of me. Stupid. I think it's coming out next week sometime. So Gem celebrates Ray Davies. Yes, good stuff. The last one I'm going to do is this one that's come out, Shine On, a tribute to Pete Ham.
Yeah.
I don't remember which charity the proceeds are going to, and again, I am very remiss and I'm sorry, but it is going to charity, and one can look it up. There's 35 tracks on here, and full disclosure, they're not all great, but when they are great, they are very much worth it. And one of the ones I was impressed with is, well, this is my favorite Badfinger song, long before Breaking Bad, I have to say. Probably my favorite song before a lot of our listeners, or even, well, no, we have older listeners.
We do have some older ones.
But this is Mary Lou Lord doing Baby Blue, and I just like the way she does it. Oops. No, it's... Oh, hold on. Hit something I shouldn't have. I'm such a bad...
And also, our DJ's getting old. Do.
Definitely my favorite Badfinger song. Probably one of my 25 favorite songs ever by anybody.
Great song.
And she did a nice job. I like the fact that she kind of has an understated vocal, because Pete Ham, of course, he has such a strong voice, and her voice is very, very pretty. And Mary Lou, if you're listening, I want you to play IPO Boston. Come on.
Nice. There you go. All proceeds go to the Mental Health America.
Oh, thank you for looking that up.
Southeast Florida. Yeah.
Okay, so that's it's a worthy cause. It's 2 discs, a lot of great. Again, not everything's great, but when it is great, it really hits on all cylinders. So check that one out.
Good call. Good one.
All right, now I'm going to head over to. Well, no, wait a minute. Let me play a couple of actual albums, or track from couple of actual albums. Then we'll go to some IPO tracks, IPO CD tracks from this year. You still with us, people? Okay.
Is there a new IPO CD? Wow.
There actually is, but we'll get to that in just a bit. But now we've got our good friend Cool Cat Music.
Oh yeah.
Dave Cope and the Sass, Killer Mods from Inner Space. And it's his brand new album on Cool Cat. And this is the first track on it, which I really like, called Seemed Like a Good Idea at the Time.
At the time. Every once in a while, David has to let the pool guy out.
Really good album. Yeah. This album is more power pop than his last album, Julie, but Julie was my favorite album last year. This album will certainly be a contender for my top 10. So yes, it's on Cool Cat. And by the way, you can get the Pete Ham tribute also on Cool. If you don't know, Cool Cat Music with a K.com with a C is definitely the place to go for contemporary power pop and power pop adjacent albums. And Ray Gianchetti of Cool Cat is a very KOOL kind of guy. And
just replace all the C's with the K's.
Yeah. So he has a lot of artists sending him stuff to sell. Definitely go there for pretty much anything I'm playing. You can find there. The last one before IPO tracks is by a band called Groovy Uncle. You may know them. They're from the UK, kind of a mod soul-ish pop band. This album's a little bit different. Glenn Prangnell, the main force behind Groovy Uncle, teaming up with Jane Wrangham. I don't know who she is, but she's got a pretty voice. Album's called Make It Sound Like an Accident. It's their 11th album. And it's a little bit different than some of the other ones. Not quite as mod, but definitely very poppy. Here's a song from it called Kenny's Imaginary Friend. Yeah.
This is where the past and present end. Drinks with an imaginary friend. Kenny's running rings round some of the sharpest in the box. Doesn't care what they all think of him, even when he shocks. Kenny only takes leaders and lands, and smiles at his imaginary friend.
Yes, really nice stuff. 11's a charm. This is a really good album. Make It Sound Like an Accident on Trouser Phonic Recordings.
Yeah, it's a great album. I have that. It's really well.
Oh, you've gotten this one. Oh,
yep, got it. Yep.
Yeah,
I'm a fan. Yeah.
Good stuff. All right, now we're gonna move on to some more good stuff from this year's soon to be released International Pop Overthrow compilation, volume 24.
24.
I should have, if things are on schedule, I will have copies right around the end of the month, which will then be given away at IPO LA to all paying customers. Then Omnivore Records, our label, Omnivore Recordings, will be releasing it to everybody else on September 8th. But you can pre-order it now, and you should, because it's really good, at the Omnivore Recordings website. So head over there and check it out. All right, so this is going to be the first unveiling of many of these tracks. Some of them are on albums that some of you may already have. But here's a band I think people don't know and should. It's a band called Pickle. but it's Pikal. They're from Alaska. Not too many cool pop bands from Alaska, but this is one of them.
Do you know where in Alaska?
Juneau. Oh, I'm trying to come up with a quick one, and I can't.
Hey, I'm here. I got 2 shows tonight. All right.
There's no Anchorage doesn't work, and Fairbanks doesn't work. That's not Fairbanks, Mark. It's about as well as good as I can do. Where are you, John Borak, when we need
you? He's Googling something right now.
We're not getting a lot of comments on these songs. I hope people are enjoying them. Anyway, this is Pickle with a really cool track called "That's Not Me." Hey, where are you? Play, you silly. Kind of like Mamas and the Papas turned on their ears. Really, really great band, and they will be playing IPO Vancouver. They're going to come all the way down from Alaska to play that one in September. So I'm really looking forward to seeing them again. Next,
if I forget the name of the band, I'll ask her.
They.
Hey, listen, I'm having surgery tomorrow. I got to get it all out tonight.
No, so you should.
Just bear with me, all right?
And I love dad jokes, but I'm an old fucker. So, anyway, next up we have somebody who is generally one of our listeners, but I don't think he's. It's kind of late in the UK right now, so he's probably asleep. But he can hear it on archive. This track really impressed me, and this artist, in some ways, is the new Nick Gilder with this track. It's by Robin Shell, and it's on the album The Macchiato, and this is a track called 11, and it just reminds me of Nick Gilder so much, especially in the chorus. Here we go.
Yeah.
I guess some people might say it reminds them of Rush a little bit. I certainly hear Nick Gilder quite.
Yeah, much more Nick Gilder.
Yeah. Love that track so much, and the whole album's really good. But that one, remember the first time I heard it, the album. As soon as I heard that song 11, I contacted Robin and said, I want that for the IPO CD.
That's a good track, Robin. Well done.
Yeah. He agreed, and there it is. Here's a track by our friends Roger Houdel and Think Like a Key Records, from a new album by a band called Novelty Island. It's a really, really great one, and this song is called Stitches.
Episodes remember just by chance, laughing at a vintage song and dance. Sound tapes, party thoughts and minds, forgotten times.
It occurred to me as I was listening to that song sounds almost exactly like Friendliness by Stackridge.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Very much those harmony vocals coming at you the way Andy Davis and James Warrens did on this album. But yeah, great track from a really, really good album. I would check it out if you're a fan of pop music, and of course you are. All right. Got a couple more. Here's one by a band from Toronto called The Discarded, who are mostly sort of a pop punk band. And it's from a film that they did, an animated film about a fictitious band called the Get-Go's. And it's about their trials and tribulations of being kind of friends and then becoming famous. And the lead singer becomes a star and the other ones resent, the typical story, but it's animated, so it's even cooler. But this song really stuck out. It's called Bubblegum. So there you go.
Yeah.
So there is a soundtrack album. It looks like it's by the Get-Go's, although the band really is the Discarded. But it's a soundtrack to an animated film about the Get-Go's. Only vinyl and only Canadian. But, again, those of you who are savvy enough will be able to find it. There is also, I don't think there's a released Blu-ray yet, but I think there is somewhere online where you can actually see the animated film. It's pretty cool. Joel Wasson, the main man who put this together. Kudos. All right, let's see what we got here. Oh, this is going to be maybe the first time that any of us are hearing the new track by Roger Joseph Manning Jr.
Wow.
It's from an EP that will be out on Omnivore in the fall. I want to thank them very much for giving us this track. It's called Rockin' It Our Way.
You can taste it, but the taste it will never fill you up. What can I say? And you can fake it, don't mistake it, but it's gonna bring you down, cause it's kids play. But if you want to shake down, here's
Ooh, love that chord thing.
Non-stop rocking it our way.
It's like, man, everything that
Man.
guy just turns.
Yeah,
It always has, and
that's awesome.
it's great that he's still doing it and doing it so well. All right, I'll give you one more, and then maybe we can go to Stump a Bash or whatever. This one also features one of our previous guests, Lisa Michaels. It's Orbit,
Nice.
Orbit
Lisa.
Max with Lisa Michaels featuring Ed Ryan. That's actually how they are presenting themselves. The track is called Are You Okay? And it's letter R, letter U, and then okay. Here we go.
What I typically do around this time of year. Behind a million miles out there, while my body's still chained to the chair, those I hold dear. Long gone, those better times, long gone. I get lost in my mind so long. I feel I'm 2 steps from crying.
Wow.
Yeah, you can hear Lisa in the chorus.
Yeah, that sounds wonderful, man. You're
Doesn't that song kind of scream out 1977?
yeah,
Like
yeah,
top
I
40 radio.
Yeah.
I think I don't know what kind of keyboard it is. I'm sure the musicians among you do, but that's the signpost of 1976, 77 top 40. You know, your England Dan and John Ford Coley.
Yeah.
Really beautiful song. All right, so those are 5 or 6 songs, however many I played, of the 68.
68. 3 CDs, right?
Yeah. Set.
Wow.
That again, if you're coming to IPOLA, you will get a copy. If you're not, well, I will comp you, Mark.
Oh,
for sure.
Thank you.
But if you're not coming to IPOLA and your name's not Hershberger, you will need to buy it at Omnivore Recordings. You can pre-order it now. September 8th release date. And again, I'm really proud of this compilation, as I am of the 23 previous. And huge thank you to every artist who gave us a track, and to Omnivore for the 3 tracks they gave us. We're really, really super grateful.
And what's great about it is you got 68 tracks. And I know Omnivore, none of your IPO, compilations are that expensive at all. And you're getting a wonderful package, 68 tracks, and you hear things you like. You can go out and buy usually a full album's worth from that artist based on something that you hear on this IPO 3 CD set. So, I mean, that's just a wonderful way, to discover, artists maybe that you're not that familiar with. So,
yeah, agreed. Most of these songs are from full albums or EPs. So if you like what you hear, you can, as you said, you can find the release. Mostly physical releases too, but I'm sure at least digital. So look out for that. All right. Do we have Stump the Bash in the offing?
Oh, we haven't done this in a long time.
Stump the Bash. Stump the Bash. Stump the Bash. Stump the Bash.
It is time for Stump the Bash, and I told David a couple weeks ago that I think this one that I had prepared a little while ago is a tough one. So,
oh my God!
If you've not seen Stump the Bash before, it's quite simple. We take the years 1965 to 1975, which is an 11-year period, and David selects randomly 5 of those years, and it's basically a chart position, and I give him clues. If he gets the track and the title, the artist and the title of the track, and the first clue, he gets 5 points, all the way down to the last clue, which is 1 point, or 0 if he doesn't get it at all.
And that's happened.
That's happened. And he's got to get a total of 15 points out of the 5 years that he selects, which is an average of getting it on the 3rd clue for every one of these. If he doesn't get 15, we stump the bash. It has happened.
Oh yeah, it's happened a few times.
But some of the things he comes out with, you go, absolutely amazing. So let's play Stump the Bash. David, 1965 through 1975. What year are you feeling?
Well, you haven't told me the chart position yet.
Oh, maybe I should tell you the chart position. This is chart position number 52.
Ooh, 52. Okay, right.
Somewhere right in the middle.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, it's the chart position that it ended up on Billboard for its
year end,
for its given year.
Yeah.
So these are all very big hits. Stump the Bash. That's right.
Stump the Bash.
Will Bash get stumped? I don't know. I don't really pick the years quite at random because I want to make sure, to be fair, that it's not only the years that I grew up with, but I also pick years that I had to go back and hear the songs after the fact. So,
and we've also said, I try my best to give, interesting clues and clues that don't exactly give it away immediately. Although David pulls things out sometimes that you won't.
Sometimes it depends. Right? It might be something that's sitting in the back of my head.
And sometimes these tracks are tough. So we'll have fun with it. Here we go.
We will start with a year that I love, 1971.
All right, give me 1 second to move forward to 1971 here because I have this all set up. All right, 1971. I'm writing it down. Clue number 1. This is year-end chart position number 52 overall. This is a gospel-infused cover version released in 1971 on the Atlantic label. The original version from the year before won 5 Grammy Awards for the artist and songwriter.
Oh, this should certainly be easy, and I think I know it.
You might come right out of the gate.
I'm almost 100% sure that I know it, and if I'm right, I have to admit, when I first heard this version, I thought it was awful, even though I've loved many songs by this artist prior and after. When I first heard this, I thought it was awful because the one from the year before was one of my favorite songs of that year, and still a song that I love. And in fact, I remember, if I'm right, when I heard the 1970 version, it became, well, let me preface it. No Time by the Guess Who was the first song that I could say was my favorite song. And then I heard this one, which came out about a month later, and I fell in love with it. And I'm hearing it on the radio. I'm lying in my bed hearing it on the radio. God, if I'm wrong, this is really...
I was going to say, if you're wrong, this entire description is just thrown out the window, but go ahead.
Well, anyway, my brother Joel...
I don't think you're wrong.
My brother Joel comes running in with a radio, and he says, "David, listen." And it's No Time by the Guess Who. And I say, "Get that out of here." Because I have a new favorite song now that I'm listening to. And the version that you're talking about, I believe, is by the Queen of Soul, Aretha Franklin. And the track is Bridge Over Troubled Water.
5 points right out of the gate. Beautiful call. 5 points. 1971. It is Bridge Over Troubled Water, Aretha Franklin, which is her cover of course, the Simon and Garfunkel tune from the previous year that won 5 Grammy Awards. So yes,
I was young, not too gifted, and definitely not black. And so I didn't appreciate what she did with the version. I was too young to understand. I kind of thought, well, if you're going to do a cover version, make it sound exactly like the other one. And she gossiped it up. And
right away, you're making me look bad. I thought this would be a tougher Stump the Bash. It's not over yet, but
hardly over. I could get
5
4 zeros.
Points. You could get 4 zeros.
Yeah.
Where are you going next? Well, what are you thinking?
Well, of course, to be fair, I'm going to go with an early year, and we will go with 1966.
1966, chart position number 52. Here we go. This track, written by the artist's husband, peaked at number 2 on Billboard and was one of her biggest hits of the entire 1960s.
Well, a particular woman has come to mind. I could be completely wrong. I don't remember who she was married to, but let me see. Well, 66. What song was? I'm just going to throw this out here. My Love by Petula Clark.
It is not.
Okay.
My Love by Petula Clark.
Okay. I don't remember who she was married to, but
good guess, though.
I don't know if her husband was a songwriter or not. But,
all right. Well, for 4 points, we go on to clue number 2, 1966, chart position number 52. Critic Tom Sendra's album review wrote about this song, the only track that has any zest, the kind of dramatic song she could knock out in her sleep, but also a song with no heart.
Well, that doesn't help at all. Okay. You said it hit number 2 on Billboard.
It hit number 2.
I got to think of more female artists from that period. And I can think of one, but I don't think she had a husband at the time. Maybe she did. These Boots Were Made for Walking by Nancy Sinatra.
It is not.
It is not.
It is not. It's not These Boots Are Made for Walking. We move on to clue number 3 for 3 points. Still within the average. He still doesn't have to sweat. This is one of those songs that has difficult clues to come up with, but this is a pretty good clue. Released on the Imperial label in February 1966 with the B-side Needles and Pins.
Oh. Well, I think I know the artist, but I'm trying to think, what hit did she have that year that was big enough? So I'm thinking of other hits. I'm thinking of other hits by her, but I think they were later. No, that was later. Now, this song I thought was written by the artist herself, so I could be wrong. What was her hit in '66? I know the artist. This may be another situation where I'm just forgetting the one hit that I need to remember, like with a stylistic.
Yeah, could be.
Again, I thought she wrote this song. That's why I'm hesitant to say it. And also maybe what the hell was good? Oh no, that's later. Okay, so it's not that. But this might be later too. What the World Needs Now Is Love by Jackie DeShannon?
It is not. What the World Needs Now Is Love.
It's a different song by her, though. It's got to be her.
Not that track. Clue number 4 for 2 points. All of a sudden, he's shaving some points off his very first number 5. In 1987, this artist re-recorded a rock version of this track produced by John Bon Jovi, Richie Sambora, and Desmond Child.
Well, that I have no idea about. Again,
this is a tough one.
That's not the song that I said. What the World Needs Now Is Love, and that wasn't the song I was initially thinking of. Maybe I even have the artist wrong, but everything seems to add up. When You Walk in the Room by Jackie DeShannon?
It is not When You Walk in the Room by Jackie DeShannon.
Maybe I do.
All right.
Artist.
The last clue for 1 point is clue number 5. And the only thing that I can share about this song is that it's known as a folk rock song recorded at Gold Star Studios in LA.
Yeah, okay. I did have the wrong Imperial artist. Motherfucker. What was her hit in 60?
You still got to come up with the hit. I just saw Rena tiptoeing behind you. I hope to God she's not feeding you these answers yet.
What did she have as a hit that year? All I Really Want to Do by Cher?
It is not All I Really Want to Do, and that's 0 points for 1966. It is Cher.
Yeah.
And the song is Bang Bang My Baby Shot Me Down. For 0 points. All right. Now all of a sudden it gets interesting again.
Gwen must have written all I. Oh no, Dylan did. What am I thinking? Okay.
All right.
From 5 to 0. That's how it goes.
That's how it goes on Stump the Bash. All right. Where does he get comfortable now? He needs something he can at least get the average up. He needs a 4.
Let's go with 1974.
1974. That's probably a good one to get the average up. Give me one chance to get there. I think I have. Okay, we got it. 1974, chart position number 52, year-end Billboard. These American singer-songwriters recorded a remake of this track in the autumn of 1973, and the track was released as the lead single from one of the artist's 4th studio album, Hotcakes.
Oh, well, I know the artist. Read the whole question again.
Yep. It is these American singer-songwriters recorded a remake of this track in the autumn of 1973. The track was released as the lead single from one of the artist's 4th studio album, Hotcakes.
Well, you might say, if I'm right about this, you might say they subtly copied the Beatles with yeah, yeah, and yeah. So I'm going to go mock, yeah, ing, yeah, bird, yeah, Mockingbird by James Taylor and Carly Simon.
5-0-5. Mockingbird, James Taylor, Carly Simon, 1974 chart position number 52. David Bash is back.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really, even though they are songwriters very clearly, I think of them more as recording artists. So I might have been thrown off a bit by that until you said hotcakes, and then okay, I know who that is. And she sure did. I'm sure you do know it, Casey. But did you get the question right? See, that's the key. All of us who are old enough, we know those songs, but you have to has Billboard always been a top 100? No, it has not.
No.
Prior to 1955, I believe it was only a top 50.
Mm-hmm.
I think, I'm not sure if it was the advent of rock and roll or what. Well, it wasn't really the advent, but in Billboard's mind it was. I mean, rock and roll took place well before 1955, and it was mostly R&B groups that were doing it. So white people, of course, appropriated it and appropriated the term, and everyone thought, well, Bill Haley and Elvis invented it. No, they did not. Louis Jordan may have invented it with Saturday Night Fish Fry. It's very possible because he's talking about we were rocking. Of course, rocking meant something different then, too. But anyway.
Well, David came back with another 5-pointer. So now after 3 of the 5 years he selects, he's got 10 points. So all he has to do is average 2.5, which would be a 3 and a 2. On the next
I'm going to make it tough. I'm going to make it tough on me because I'm going to go back into the 60s. Okay. And we'll try 1967.
1967. Let me get to it. All right, here we go. Chart position number 52 in 1967. This song was written by Charlie Chaplin. Yes.
Really?
That Charlie Chaplin in 1966, and intended for the film A Countess from Hong Kong, which he wrote and directed. Chaplin was determined to have the song sung by Al Jolson until he was convinced by seeing a photo of Al Jolson's tombstone that Mr. Jolson had actually died 16 years earlier.
I was going to say he was dead.
Ultimately, only an instrumental was used in this movie.
Right. Is that to say that this is an instrumental hit?
It is not.
Okay, got it.
But he wrote this song intended for Al Jolson to sing it, even though Jolson had died 16 years previously, and he had to be shown a picture of Jolson's tombstone. But the songwriter of this 1967 hit is Charlie Chaplin, and he only used an instrumental version of this hit in the movie that he wrote it for.
See, that's something, that's just such great trivia that I should know it, and I don't.
Isn't that something? That's neat.
I really don't know what anything Charlie Chaplin wrote at that time. Did we say the name of the movie, or did you leave that out on purpose?
No, the movie is A Countess from Hong Kong.
Okay, which I've never seen. Yeah. I wish I had.
At this point, because then
I'd probably know what this is, but I know.
Such a great first question, though. It is a great first clue.
Question. Yeah. It is a great first clue, and the only song I can think of was a hit in '66. But since I have nothing better to go on, I'll just say Winchester Cathedral by New Vaudeville Man.
It is not.
It is not.
It's a pretty good guess, though.
Nah.
All right, we got some great clues coming up. This next one, I don't know if it's really going to help you much because it'll lead to a great third clue. But clue number 2 for 4 points. It was released in February of 1967 on the Warner Brothers label in the USA, backed with a track called High. And this track peaked at number 3 on Billboard that year. Warner Brothers peaked at number 3.
Right. No, it doesn't help. Because Warner Brothers, of course, had tons and tons of hit records that year. Let me think, though. Well, of course, Warner Brothers had lots of soundtrack stuff. But he wanted Al Jolson to sing it. So would this be somebody who is Jolson-esque, or Written by Charlie. Shit. Well,
interesting. Charlie Chaplin. Wow.
Of course, it could have been something that turned out to be sung by a woman, even though he wanted Al Jolson. It could be somebody who actually was black. And we all know Al Jolson was most famous for playing the black minstrel.
Yep.
But Warner Brothers. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, no doubt. So far, no, not
nothing.
Yet.
All right.
Nothing.
We're going to go to clue number 3. Now, this is a lengthy clue, so stay with me and listen closely.
Stay With Me by the Faces. That was on
yes.
Warner Brothers. Not quite in 1967, though, and I don't think Charlie Chaplin would have written it.
Wrote it. All right, here we go. Clue number 3.
I'm like Ralph Camden at the end of the $99,000 answer, where he doesn't know who wrote Swanee River, and he's being led off stage. I'll be seeing you. Yes, I'll be seeing you by Irving Berlin. Anyway, go ahead. John Bork will appreciate that.
All right, here we go. Clue number 3. Chaplin considered having the song recorded by this singer who lived near him in Switzerland.
Oh, Jesus.
Hold on. I got my thing going. Lived near him in Switzerland. It was also recorded in French as C'est ma chanson, lyrics by Pierre Delano, who felt the song a poor choice for this artist. In German, it was Love, so heißt mein Song, lyrics by Joachim Rehlen. And in Italian as Cara Felicita, lyrics by Ciro Bertini. The artist did not even wish to record the song in English because the artist disliked the deliberately old-fashioned lyrics, which Chaplin refused to modify. However, the translated versions of the song had been recorded, some time remained on the session, and the artist was coaxed to use this time to record Chaplin's lyrics. The recording session featured the backing of the Wrecking Crew.
Oh boy, I'm just completely led astray by so many things here. Well, I heard the word chanson, which means song. So that's about the only thing I can go on.
What a great song and clue set. I love this. Yeah.
This Is My Song by Petula Clark.
This Is My Song. Yes, you got it.
Oh my God. Really? Holy shit.
This Is My Song for 3 points, Petula Clark.
See, I when you said Warner Brothers, I had the sense that maybe a woman might have ended up doing it.
Yep.
I cannot imagine Al Jolson doing that song.
This Is My Song, Petula Clark.
Wow. And she was living in Switzerland, of course, threw me out. I'm thinking, what Swiss artists do I know? And I thought, well, these people always move. Yep. Especially if you're in Europe, you can go to another country with ease. It'd be like me moving to Arizona. So
yeah. I'll tell you, that was important, though, because you were getting down to it. Had you gotten 2, I think you might have gotten the next clue. You would have need 3 on the last.
I'm proud that I remembered some of my high school French. That's the only way that
what gave it to you. Song.
Yeah.
Well, you got 3 points on that.
Warner Brothers and Chanson gave it to me.
So you're sitting at 13
the kind of
points.
Song Charlie Chaplin could have written. So
all you need is 2 points on this final year to not be stumped, not to be stumped in an impressive fashion that you just snuck by at 15 points. But I would love to see you come right out of the gates with a 5-pointer and blow it out of the water and leave no doubt. But that's up to you and the year that you chose.
Do I take the easy way out, or do I?
Comes down to this.
Do I go for it with a year from the 60s? I guess I'll compromise and say 1969.
1969. Here we go. This is chart position number 52. David only needs 2 points, not to be stumped. Here we go. Clue number 1 for 5 points. The artist has stated that this song was originally written for Barbra Streisand, with Streisand later adding that the artist wanted to sing a duet with her.
Read the beginning of the clue.
The artist has stated that this song was originally written for Barbra Streisand, with Streisand later adding that the artist wanted to sing a duet with her.
Well, I'll assume that the artist is a man, because female duets, just straight female duets, or even straight male duets, unless it was brothers, didn't happen that often. But then, of course, what song would it be? God knows. And no, it's not God Only Knows either.
This is, I mean, the clues for this one were a little tough. So this is,
well, I mean, you know, I think about songs that might have worked with Barbra Streisand, but then I think of the artist and saying, how in the world would Barbra Streisand how would she have consented to do a duet with this unknown guy?
Right.
So, excuse me. Well, there's. This is 1969, so I'm thinking.
1969.
I'm thinking of a good candidate for an artist, but I don't know if they had any big enough hits that year. I don't know. Gene by Oliver. I'm sure
it is not Gene by Oliver. That's all right.
Oliver would have had no prayer of getting Barbra Streisand to sing.
Yeah. All right. Well, we did not come out of the gates with 5 points, but this is a 4-point question.
I'm wondering if we're going to come out with any points, but let's see.
Do not be stumped. All right. Clue number 2 for 4 points. This track was released on February 14th, 1969 on the Columbia label, backed with the song Peggy Day.
I don't know Peggy Day. I certainly know Columbia, and of course, lots of big hits on Columbia.
Yep, that doesn't really narrow it down.
The song I'm thinking of, I thought was a hit in 1968. So I'm probably wrong. But let's try something else on Columbia. What else is on Columbia that year? Well, lots of stuff. Mostly by groups that I'm thinking of. I bet it's not, and this isn't a guess, I bet it's not Time Has Come Today by the Chambers Brothers. That's not going to work. Could you imagine Barbra singing Time? Let's see. No.
No, that wouldn't fly.
See, the one song I'm thinking of, again, I think it's from 68, but it would be a really good candidate for her. And it was on Columbia, if I recall. But maybe I'm wrong. Could it be 69? I don't think so. Again, you know, I can't go by memory back then because I wasn't listening yet.
Yep. It's a challenge.
Let me think. Who else was it? Who on Columbia would have had a big enough hit? What do I need? 2 points? All right, so if I don't get this, I have 2 more chances.
Yep.
Ah, my denture.
You got chances. You're going to need them.
I have a feeling I will, because I have a feeling the song I'm thinking of came out in 1968. But as I don't have any other guess at the moment, I'm going to go with Little Green Apples by O.C. Smith.
It is not Little Green Apples, but
that's 68, I think. But you could definitely see her doing that with it.
Yeah, I could see her doing that. It'd be a nice track for Barbra.
Duet, yeah. Nice
or even a duet, yeah.
Okay.
All right, we go on to clue number 3 for 3 points. Still, if he gets this one, he is not stumped. David will not be stumped. So clue number 3, the single peaked at number 7 on Billboard, becoming this artist's fourth and last top 10 U.S. hit.
Oh. Okay. I think I might have zeroed in on this. I think this song is from 69. This artist. Wait, am I thinking of the wrong song now? No, I think. Maybe I'm way off on the year on this one, but. Oh. Well, if I have the artist correct, this person certainly was famous enough to get Barbara to sing with him. But I think I have the wrong song. I think I'm way off on the year. Now you come in when I'm messing up. Because I was doing great before you showed up, Noel. Great and bad. No, I think this is the. Oh man, I'm thinking of the wrong song probably. Oh. Yeah, I am thinking of the wrong song, but I might have the right artist, but I don't remember if this song was top 10 or not. No, I'm not stumped yet. I have 2 more chances.
It's getting close, though.
Yeah, it really is. This will be one of the weirdest Stump the Bashes. I think I had one other one with 5s and 0s. Was this a top 10? I don't think. Well, like maybe it doesn't have to have been a top. Oh, no, you said it peaked at number 7.
Yep.
Hey, Vay. I think I have the wrong artist then. So I don't think this song did. Well, it's a song I love, but it's probably wrong. Yeah, so far, Noel, I have 5, 0, 5, and 3.
Yep.
I need 2 to not be stumped. And this is a 3-point clue on the last question. I don't think this was top 10. I'm probably just thinking of the wrong song.
You could see the steam.
All right, whatever. Happy Heart by Andy Williams.
Happy Heart by Andy Williams is not correct.
No, I didn't think it was.
So now we're down to
the top 10. Great song, though.
Great song.
And obviously an artist that could have
could
have compelled Barbara to sing with him.
Right, exactly. Great guess, but sadly not correct.
It's not a
down
great guess.
To
I don't think it was even top 10. But
clue number 4 for 2 points. David has to get it here in order to not be stumped. Otherwise, we have stumped the bash. Here it is. Chart position number 52 in 1969. Listen closely to a longer clue. Don Everly of the Everly Brothers recounted in a 1986 Rolling Stone interview that the artist performed parts of the song for them after a late 1960s appearance by the duo in New York as they were looking for songs. And he was writing this track at the time. Despite a popular story that the Everly Brothers rejected the song due to misunderstanding the lyrics as sexual in nature, Everly continued, he sang parts of it, and we weren't quite sure whether he was offering it to us or not.
All right, now I think I know it. And I'll say this, if I'm right, the Everly Brothers eventually did record it on their 1984 album. I think, was the album called Wings of a Nightingale? Or was that just the hit on it? But they did a version. They did a version of this song and did it very, very well. Yeah, see, this artist I would never have thought of as even wanting to do anything with Barbra Streisand, except maybe have sex with her. I don't know, but certainly not record with her. And yeah, this song does seem very clearly about sex, but is probably not. And this would have been this artist's last top 10, as far as I know. So I'm going to go with Lay Lady Lay by Bob Dylan.
Lay Lady Lay by Bob Dylan is correct. We did not stump the bash. David comes in at exactly 15 points.
Wow.
chart position number 52 in 1969, Bob Dylan's Lay Lady Lay. He originally wrote with Barbra Streisand in mind. She did not do the song, but she thought he was interested in doing
I know,
it as
Noel.
a
Wow,
duet.
that was close.
Who is correct? He was down to the final straw. I think you would have gotten to the last clue, which would not have helped you. But the song is sung in a warm, relatively low-sounding voice rather than the more abrasive nasal singing style with which he has become famous.
I think I might have gotten it just from the word nasal.
Nasal, yeah.
You did bring me luck. Or maybe maybe you brought me bad luck by not being here. And I earned those 2 hard-fought points.
He did. David came out of the blocks with a 5, but immediately followed up with a 0, putting the pressure right back on him. And then he rebounded with another 5, and it looked like easy street. He picked up a 3, including number 4, needing only 2 points, and it got down to the 2-point question.
I'm actually much prouder about I'm much prouder about getting the Petula Clark one.
Yes, that was
that just came out, and again, only because I knew the word chanson. Because I would not have expected Charlie Chaplin to have written that song, and then wanting Al Jolson to do it, and Petula Clark ending up doing it. But
how cool were these songs and these clues?
Your clues were great.
This was pretty cool. This was really cool.
Your clues were top shelf.
And on top of that, whenever you sit there and you describe your thought process, it really gives a lot of insight into how you're forming the answers to this, and it's wonderful. It's a lot of fun.
It certainly didn't work on Who Charted.
No.
I was describing my thought process, and I was offering these really cool, educated guesses, and almost half the time they were wrong.
It was like, nope.
I think, what did I get? 9? Was it 9 out of 50? Wait, was it 9 out of 15 last time?
Yeah.
I think if somebody did a t-test or an ANOVA test, that would not have been significant at the 05 level, meaning there would have been more than a 5% chance that I didn't get it at random, meaning that was still at monkey level.
Well, next week,
7 out of 15 and 9 out. Next week, what?
Next week, we're going to put you up in Who Charted. We're going to put you up against a chicken. I'm going to bring a live chicken in here, and we're going to see whether the chicken can actually pick.
No, chickens can't flip coins. Or they can't press buttons. A monkey could press a button representing one of the 2 choices.
Yes.
And would definitely by random chance get 7 or 8 out of 15.
Well, I'm training Ches to put his paw on button A or button B. So
all right, yeah, let me go up against Ches. No, seriously. If you can train him to press a button, I'm going to go up against Ches on Who Charted. And Ches may very well beat me on that one. And I'll be coming up with educated guesses, and he'll be coming up with ref, and he'll still beat me.
It'll be like, did you hear that? He has beaten David in Who Charted.
like that old joke about the talking dog. What's the top of the house called? Roof.
Yeah.
Get out of here. Well, who was it? Joe DiMaggio?
Yeah, great bar joke.
Noel, by the way, Noel, if you're still here, I did my Buddy Hackett routine on the show. So,
well, you missed it. You're gonna have to watch the archives.
She can, of course, go on archive like anybody else can.
Yeah. We got archives. It's right here on Facebook. If you join the group, watch them all on Facebook, or go over to materialissues.com, which is the YouTube channel archive. And subscribe, join, tell your friends all about it. We have a great time here. This is a Tuesday night show. We're usually every Wednesday, but because I am going to have septoplasty nose deviated septum surgery tomorrow, we made it tonight. So I'm glad we did. After 2 days of driving home from Florida, I'm a little bit bushed, but had a nice little burst of energy here, and we had a great time.
You don't look worse for wear, though, Mark.
Thank you very much. I'm actually looking forward to the surgery tomorrow. I think it's going to make a world of difference. So,
by next Wednesday, we'll hear the world of difference.
Yes.
World of Difference was a great Twilight Zone episode with.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
You and I could probably talk about Twilight Zone.
Thank you, Noel. Yeah, indeed.
You and I could probably talk about Twilight Zone forever. we'll just do this quickly, and then we'll mention our guest coming up, and then we'll let these poor people go. What's your favorite Twilight Zone episode?
We've talked about this before. Oh. Yeah, we tried to, and I told you it's hard for me to come up. I'd have to go back and read a couple books I have on it.
Oh yeah, we did do this,
and really, because there's so many that I really like, but I think every time I think about it, I could change. Yeah, I don't.
Well, that's kind of the way it works. Oh, I had a feeling, Noel. I had a feeling that you liked it. Oh, I should point out about Noel here. Oh, she fancies herself an expert on Broadway.
Oh, and where's Noel from?
Well, Noel's originally from right near me in Woodland Hills, but she's lived in Montreal for the past 20 years. But she's an actress as well as a singer, and she's done I don't know, Noel, have you done anything on Broadway, or have you done Broadway plays? But she has acted in plays, and she loves Broadway. So she wants us or you or somebody to come up with yeah. She wants us to come up with us. Now, I accidentally called her Noelle Hamilton once. Her last name's Hannibal. Mm-hmm. I called her Hamilton because she was doing a staged podcast on the Broadway show Hamilton. So I accidentally called her Noelle Hamilton. And so we've got to come up with a Stump the Hamilton for her.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know if you're inclined to come up with Broadway questions, but she says she's game.
Hey, George. How you doing,
George?
My friend?
Good to see you.
Yeah, Noel, I'll be up in. Hopefully, if I have a quick 4-day good enough recovery, I've got tickets Sunday at the Lyceum on Broadway to see Gray Houses, which is kind of evidently the rage of Broadway right now. So go take my daughter up there if I'm good.
Hamilton. So
yeah, I don't. I'm just trying to. I mean,
I know virtually nothing about Broadway. So
we'd have to. You know what? I'd have to go back and pick out we'd have to each pick out top 3 favorite Twilight Zone episodes. See if we match any, and then discuss the particulars about why we like it so much. There's so many.
Well, I'll tell you what mine are.
Time Enough at Last.
No. Oh, is that yours?
I think one of them.
Well, yeah, Time Enough at Last is pretty great. Although I have to say, after a while, I just get kind of fed up with Bemis, Burgess Meredith's character. I almost don't feel sorry for him, but but I do. Now, my favorite episode is an hour long. Oh
wow. Yeah, she's hardcore.
She is, yeah. And she will be playing IPO LA on August 5th because she's coming back to her old stomping grounds. And so it worked out. But my favorite episode is an hour-long one called In His Image.
In His Image, okay.
With George Grizzard. It's hard to describe it without giving away. All I'll say is it's about a man who takes his new girlfriend back to his hometown, and things are, even though he'd been there recently, things weren't as he remembered them, and it was freaking him out. But there's a reason for it, and we'll find out why. My second favorite episode is one that I know a lot of people love, Walking Distance.
Oh, yeah.
The one where Gig Young ends up going back in time, and he was somebody who, his life was a dead end, and he was longing for his past. But when he goes back in time, he learns a lesson about that. And then
what's the slot machine?
Nick, you mean the slot machine one, the Fever?
The Fever.
Franklin. Yeah. That is a great one. I mean,
that one I like a lot too.
Yeah. Well, just Something's an amazing episode. I don't know which one she's referring to because we've talked about a few. To
To
Serve
Serve
Man.
Man, yeah.
It's hard for that kind of episode to be my favorite because it's one that relies on one punchline at the end.
Yeah.
But it's still great. Oh yeah, Nick of Time, Noel.
Nick of Time, right?
Am I going to get the promotion?
See, that's just it. I could probably change my top 3 favorites on a bi-weekly basis if I kept watching my DVD collection, and because there's sometimes I'll pull it out and I'll start watching episodes and I'll be like, oh yeah, this one was really good, and I'll have forgotten a little bit about it until I see it again.
So let me get this straight. You pull it out and then watch the episodes?
Yes.
I've heard of.
I used to do that in the 70s
too, but Twilight Zone. Well, I don't know. Maybe the one with Julie Newmar. That I could certainly see that. My third favorite is Perchance to Dream, the one where the guy goes to the psychiatrist.
See?
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, exactly.
So, Noel, you mean you pull it out too when you watch Twilight Zone? That I find that very. But
stump the bash.
Noel says she's Gen X and things don't faze her, so I can make jokes like that in front of her, and she's not going to get all woke on me.
She even capitalized all 5 letters
of
your first name. Yeah,
those are probably my 3 favorite. Maybe number 4 is Night of the Meek, where Art Carney plays Santa Claus.
Oh, that's a great episode. Yeah.
The only thing that mars that episode, and it doesn't affect where I rank it, but it was one of the ones on videotape instead of film. Because Twilight Zone, during the 2nd season, Twilight Zone found themselves over budget after about halfway through. And they were told, if you don't do something about this, we're not going to be able to finish the season. So Rod figured out that, well, we can do some episodes on videotape. Yeah, there you go. We can do some on videotape, and that would definitely that would save our budget. And so that was one of the ones they did. One of the other ones they did is Long Distance Call, where Bill Mumy, his grandmother died, and he's able to speak to her through the toy phone. That's another. Those video episodes had such a soap opera feel, because if you remember back in the 60s, soap operas were also on video.
Right.
So every time I watch some of those, I feel like, but Night of the Meek overcomes that limitation, and just it's so beautiful. Art Carney was an amazing actor, because everyone thinks of him as Norton, but he also played Felix Unger. I mean, think about that. How different are Norton and Felix Unger? Yeah, you should. Well, there's actually 3.
Yeah.
There's actually 3 Bill Mumy episodes, Noel. Not to be pedantic or anything. Well, yes, to be pedantic, but yeah, of course, It's a Good Life. There's where Bill Mumy's character Anthony sends bad people to the cornfield.
To the cornfield.
A lot people either love that one or hate it. My friend Mark, with whom I discussed Twilight Zone ad nauseum, says, and my other friend Jamie, they both say someone would have bopped him on the head. Maybe so, but on the other hand, survival instinct is very strong. These people would rather live in that horror than die. Although, the guy at his birthday party was saying, "Can't somebody just do something? Can't somebody just end this already?" But no one had the guts.
I'm surprised you didn't mention the Mighty Casey
as one of my least favorite episodes.
You talked about that once before.
The Mighty Casey. If you're a baseball fan, you should be even more offended than anybody else. Awful, absolutely awful. Well, you forgot to mention the Bewitching Pool.
Oh yeah.
Which I absolutely can't stand. They took a really beautiful story about kids escaping their abusive parents to go to a really warm, safe place, and they ruined it. They ruined it with awful editing, and having the kid's voice overdubbed by Rocket J. Squirrel herself, June Foray.
Yes, yeah.
Plus, the parents couldn't act their way out of a paper bag. I don't know where they got those people. but I think whoever was supposed to play the father probably bailed at the last minute, and they had to find someone, so they got the janitor to come on. That guy was just terrible.
But it was
the kids are gone. They've gone into the pool and then they're gone. And
sheer genius.
They've been down a long time, and the father says, "Yeah, I know."
You know,
sounds like a real. I love the After Hours with Anne Francis. Absolutely great episode. Not quite top 10, but I really like it. And she did an awesome job in that.
Just a genius series, though. Just for the time, it's amazing.
Especially Charles Beaumont. He was my favorite of the writers.
Yeah.
I mean, Rod Serling had to write the majority of episodes, so he had a much better chance of having a few duds in there, and he did. He also had some genius episodes in there. Yeah. But In His Image was written by Beaumont, and I just love him. But anyway, let's let these poor people go. It's been 2 hours.
Oh, we've been having a good time. It's been 2 hours.
We have been having a good time, but some people have to go to sleep. Noel, not really. Right. There should have been a Twilight Zone episode called Material Issues. But anyway, I didn't like Night Gallery. It was in color, which just didn't work for me.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm not somebody who minds people colorizing things. If I don't like it, I just turn the color off. But some people like it better, so let them have it. I don't care. Anyway,
we got some cool things coming up. Yeah.
Let's talk about who's coming up. Next week, as I mentioned earlier, Noel, maybe you're a fan of this movie. I don't know. But it's one of my favorites, Beyond the Valley of the Dolls. Yeah. And this Criterion collection just came out maybe within the last couple of weeks, and I picked it up from Amazon, and I can't wait to see it. But one of my favorite characters in this movie was Ronnie Z-Man Barzell, the director and what's the word I'm looking for? Why do I forget? Why am I forgetting the word?
Oh, there you go. Comment.
Oh, yes. All right. That's the word where you kind of groom somebody, like I don't mean a child for sex. I mean groom somebody to become something better. Not impresario.
It's like the idol maker.
What's the word? Why am I?
I know what you mean to say.
Like Dr. Doolittle too. I'm totally. Svengali.
Yeah, Svengali.
Yeah. He was kind of a Svengali as well.
Yeah.
The
mentor would have been pretty close to
mentor. That
Svengali was more of the impact word. Yeah.
But anyway, so Z-Man Barzell is played by John Lazar, and I just loved him in that movie, and I love the whole movie. It's just written by Roger Ebert. When I asked about it, he always said, "I was young then."
I was young.
Nobody knew that it was going to become the cult classic that it has. And so we're going to have John Lazar on next week's Material Issues.
That's July 26th.
Will be on Wednesday, July 26th.
Yeah.
And then the next 2 weeks, we don't have anyone scheduled yet.
Yeah.
But if not, we'll just be Mark and me. But the following week, we have a gentleman who was one of the main members of one of my favorite late 70s bands, City Boy. But he was more famous for writing a whole bunch of really cool songs, including co-wrote She Bop by Cyndi Lauper.
Right.
And he wrote stuff for Britney Spears and a few other people, was an executive at a few labels in the 80s and 90s, and just seems like a really cool guy. Steve Stevel will be our guest on August 16th.
August 16th, yeah.
Yes.
Awesome. It's going to be a lot of fun.
And then, Mark, I'm sorry, what do we have the following week?
Well, we wrap up our known guests August 23rd. After that, we're still booking people. But Lori Fettrick is going to join us on August 23rd. And if you happen to see American Gladiators, 1989 through 1996, one of the most popular gladiators, female gladiators, was one that was called Ice. And that was Lori Fettrick. And there's a brand new documentary out called Muscles and Mayhem, or Mayhem and Muscles.
Muscles and Mayhem, yeah.
Muscles and Mayhem, which is all about the whole series and how it came about of American Gladiators and the behind the scenes video and stories of this show. Absolutely fascinating documentary, which shows that this American Gladiators, they weren't faking it. They were going at each other very hard, and a lot of injuries. A lot of gladiators came and went because of injuries.
So let me get this straight.
Once again, you gotta clarify this, right?
So Lori Fetrick went at it hard and didn't fake it.
And didn't fake it. Yes,
well, that's a woman after my own heart, right now.
I'm just setting you up left and right tonight. But yes, Lori Fetrick, who played Ice on American Gladiators for the second half of the first season, and then for 4 seasons after that. So she'll be here August 23rd. She's going to talk about the documentary.
Yeah, every now and then, it's normally music-related guests, but every now and then we throw some wrenches into it, and we bring in some cool people. I mean, John Lazar, I suppose you could say, is music-related. As he played an impresario type. But yeah, Beyond the Val, what a great movie.
It's got a lot
of anyway, that's what we have coming up. Everyone, thank you so much for sticking around with us for 2 hours and 11 minutes. Sorry about my oral surgery. I'm still, if you need a Star Trek or Buffy guest. Noel, we probably will have you innuendo issues. Damn right. We are probably going to have you as a guest because, well, for one thing, we got to do the Broadway thing, the Stump the Hamilton Broadway special, and yeah, you probably have some good stuff to talk about. So we'll consider you for sure.
It'll be a Hannibal lecture.
Oh no, I like that. Noel, have you heard that one before? I'm sure you've heard a few Hannibal jokes, like. Wasn't Hannibal one of the characters on the A-Team?
I believe it was. But yeah, he was the
handyman or the mechanic or
who played Hannibal? Yeah,
I don't remember the actor who played him.
I can see his face. I can't remember.
Well, yeah, I know.
But Hannibal was on the A-Team.
I know Dirk Benedict played Face, and so of course George Papard played. What was his name? Oh no, he was Hannibal, wasn't he?
I think George Papard was Hannibal. Yeah,
I'm screwed up. Yeah, I forgot the name of the other guy. Yeah, Hannibal was George Papard.
Yeah, Hannibal was George Papard. Yes.
All right. Yeah, it shows how little I watched it.
Oh, we figured out now the A-Team and the Mighty Heroes tonight, and the Anthill Mob.
Of course, Mr. T.
Yeah. So we're getting down to the essence of who played who on these fabulous TV shows.
Yeah, for those of you who weren't here early, if you're a cartoon fan, if you're a 60s cartoon fan and you've never seen the Mighty Heroes, seek it out. It's
the best.
It is so subversive. Strong man, diaper man. Yeah, I pity the fool for sure.
It's just so good. I love it. Good
All right, everyone. Well, again, thank you so much. We'll see you next Wednesday at our usual time, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern. You know what? There we go. We now have. Remember when Jackie Fox and I were doing trivia?
Yep.
It's gonna be now Noel and me up against each other. Ha ha ha.
You just can't help yourself, not me.
No, doing 70s trivia, 70s TV trivia. So, Mark, you want to come up with questions about 70s TV trivia for?
I'm making a note.
You, Noel.
That'll whenever we get Noel on here down the road, we'll get 70s TV trivia.
Yeah,
we got it. It's down. She says, "Bring it."
Damn right, I will.
Everybody have a.
I don't purposely lose to girls either. No way, I'm winning. I don't care what game it is. I'm winning.
Jackie Fox will take umbrance with.
Yeah. I knew I wasn't going to beat Jackie Fox in general trivia because he's a Jeopardy champion 4 times, which I will never be. So, anyway. Hey, we're doing our best here.
That's great.
Anyway, everyone, thank you so much for listening. Have a great rest of your week, a little bit longer week than usual for us. Stay safe, and we'll see you next week.
I'll see you next week with a brand new proboscis.
Yeah, Mark, yes, absolutely. I hope the surgery goes incredibly well tomorrow.
Awesome.
We'll talk maybe later in the day if you're up to it.
Yes, indeed. I should be home. I should be home early evening. It's about a 5 or 6 hour post-op waiting period. So operation at 1 p.m. So later in the evening. See how it works.
You got it.
All right. Have a great one, everybody. We'll see you next Wednesday here on Material